Okay, so we're going to move on now to the eraser tool. Now, normally you wouldn't see the scissors tool up. You would see the eraser tool. That's the default. Um, and I use it quite frequently as a tool to create a shape, actually, not just to erase a shape. Sometimes if you have a shape already created, you can just like take bites out of it or cut right through it. There's all sorts of ways that you can use this tool that I find helpful. It is rather large right now. If you want to change the size of it, you simply double click on the tool. It's pretty rare you can do that on the toolbar, but on this one you can. And you can change the angle of it, you can change the roundness of it, and you can change the size of it. So you will probably definitely need. Now this one seems really tiny, and the reason that it seems big on screen though is because this is actually at 800% right now, so don't let that fool you. It is a really small shape. Now moving on down, the scissors tool, it's not my favorite, but it can be helpful. Sometimes you might have to actually add a point, and if the points aren't in the right spot. So basically the scissors tool uses points in order to separate itself. So if you've got let's say a point here and a point here, and that's a good spot, you can actually click that, click this, and while it's deceptive, you can't really tell. Now that is a separate shape. I'm going to push it off so you can actually see where the division is. And it's, I can't imagine how often you would use that, but you might. The one thing that I don't like about it though is that it is actually creating a shape that's incomplete. So you can see as I drag around that shape that there is nothing connecting that blue. There's no blue, it's just an open shape. And so if you're trying to fill a shape, it's fine, but if you're trying to stroke something later, you're going to see that that stroke ends. It's incomplete. Now, sometimes though, maybe you want it incomplete. I could see a purpose for that. So let's say that you want this one to be a different color, and then this one, maybe, that could be something, or go ahead and add a stroke to this one and make it magenta. You can see that there's ways to play around with that pretty effectively. Just depends on what you're doing. But if you wish to complete it, let's say that you do for some reason want it complete, because your intent is to, push it over or under or something like that, you can. Again, I covered this when I talked about the pen tool, but you can go back over here, click on that point, click on this point, and then of course you would have a complete shape. So those ones are pretty helpful. Lastly, under this particular tool is the knife tool. This one you can kind of just cut through wherever you have a shape that's selected. So it can be a bit more fun than the scissors tool, which is pretty simplistic. So go ahead and use whatever is most appropriate for you. But this one, the knife tool, does create its own. It does complete the shapes.